as we go forward, you have obviously a variety of different impeller designs, closed impellers, semi-open, open impellers, but the actual hydraulic performance of these impellers is going to be defined by how the impeller is specifically designed. And so there's a characteristic, or there's a value that's called specific speed that people within the pump world are going to talk about. And the specific speed, it's a dimensionless theoretical quantity that characterizes the pump's performance, and that's head flow speed. And you always calculate this within or at the pump's best efficiency point. And so what I'm going to, or what's on the slide here, is the equations that would be used to calculate specific speed. I'm not going to go into that in detail, but I do want to show you the chart that's shown towards the bottom of the screen. And so what you're seeing here is what the specific speed means in terms of the impeller profile or design and how the pump is ultimately going to operate. And so at the bottom on the left side of this diagram, you're going to see an impeller that has a very large diameter, that has a very narrow flow path, and it's a very radial flow path. And so this is going to be what's called a radial vane area. And these pumps are going to typically provide higher head but lower flow. And so there's a ratio called Q divided by H. And as that ratio increases, and Q in this case is flow, and H is head. So as your flow increases and your head decreases, so this ratio is getting bigger, then your specific speed is going to get bigger, and your impeller design and profile is going to change. And so as you increase your Q over H ratio, you can notice that the impeller diameter begins to be reduced, and the flow going through the impeller begins, instead of going radially, it begins to go more axial. And that means the pumps on the left side of this curve are able to generate very high flow rates, but they're operating at very low head pressures. And so by looking at the impeller, you can actually begin to understand how is this pump designed, what kind of operation is this pump intended to perform at. And so to give you kind of a different look at this, here's a few different impellers and the design of these impellers and where they would actually land on a specific speed chart. And so on the far left here, you have what would be a traditional ASME B73.1 low flow impeller, and this impeller is a complete radial design impeller. It's going to generate very high head pressures, very low flow rates, and you can kind of tell that by the impeller design. And then as you start moving towards the left, you can see that the vane profile starts getting wider or taller, and the flow begins to be less radial in nature, more axial in nature, and the specific speed begins to increase.